Hey friends, it's Kate from Venison for Dinner here, as well as the very cute Thunderstar. In our house, kittens get to live inside while they're small, and then they move outside to become barn cats. Unless their mama had them outside, and then they get to be outside forever. We're gonna talk about real food burnout, and 6 tips on how to avoid burning out on feeding your family real food. First of all, number 1, just find this kitty a comfy place to lay. You're gonna have to decide what your family's ideals are, and you're gonna have to figure out what your family's compromises are, because your diet is never going to be perfect. There is no perfect diet. So for us, that means that I buy pasta and I buy tortillas and I buy like ketchup and mustard, and sometimes I buy mayonnaise and that sort of thing. But like for you, that means maybe that you buy jam and salad dressing and cheese, whereas I make all our family's cheese. Every family's gonna have different things that they still buy, and I think this is important to your long-term sanity to still have a few things that you don't make from scratch. Number 2, food is not your God. And you need to remember this, because if you're trying to get that perfect diet, you're going to have mental and physical burnout if you're trying to make it all from scratch 100% yourself. Or you're going to have budget burnout because you're trying to buy only the perfect things. It's not gonna work. You still have a budget to stick to. And if you don't, I highly suggest it. And your time is valuable. Sometimes it's worth buying the pasta to just have a quick meal to throw on the table for your family. Number 3, decide right now that not every meal is going to be magazine perfect, okay? Sometimes it's just about filling bellies. Sometimes peanut butter jam toast, we get the homemade bread and the homemade jam and the peanut butter that's just peanut butter, just peanuts. This is cool. This is a meal. This is fine. Sometimes bellies just need to be fed. A common meal in our house is we take leftover potatoes and whatever leftover meat's in the fridge and just chop it up all in bite-sized pieces and make a big pan-fried hash of it and have it for dinner. Is it fancy? No. It's just filling bellies. It's yummy, but it's also just filling bellies. Number 4, unless you are the only person in your house, there is always, extreme circumstances. But for the vast majority of people, if you are not the only person in your house, then you should not be the only person in the kitchen. If you want to be the one doing all the cooking, that's great, but you should not be doing all the cleanup either. It is a shared job. Everybody eats, everybody works. Okay? You don't need to bear the brunt of it because you're just going to burn out. Number 5, never cook for just one meal. Leftovers are such a boon in our house. It means that the tails of one meal become the beginnings of another meal. I try to always make extra of at least one part of every meal, unless our meal is just a leftovers meal, so that we can just like roll over in terms of that. And there's leftover meat. Okay, well, we can make that into fried rice with the rice we have left over from the other night. And we made extra mashed potatoes, so we can just warm those up and have mashed potatoes with our dinner. And make an extra salad and don't dress it and put it in the fridge. Every meal, try to be making an extra thing. Just upscale what size batches you're making to keep these things rolling so that you're not having to make the whole meal every time. And number 6, Understand that some seasons just call for more conveniences, and that's okay. In seasons where I've just had a baby, or I'm pregnant, or like when Hamish was really sick and I was trying to juggle all that, sometimes you're gonna buy more conveniences. And that's okay. We need to do what we can to keep our ship afloat. And if it means that we buy bread or that we buy frozen pizzas, that's okay. And you can't beat yourself up about it, because sometimes bellies just need to be filled. Food is a lovely thing in which we can share so much fellowship and love and joy over, but also remember that sometimes food is just fuel. Now, I thought I'd share kind of some things that we're eating this week. We only kind of plan out breakfast and dinner. Lunch is usually just whatever. So breakfast this week, we have homemade yogurt with raspberries and maple syrup. We have bagels. Those will probably just be bagels with cream cheese. I have homemade bagels in the freezer, and I have cream cheese that I've made. Smoothies, eggs and potatoes, eggs and toast. These are kind of our breakfast this week. Dinners, we have, we're doing pad thai with my sister. I have a fried rice freezer meal I'm gonna pull out from the freezer. We lost my train of thought. I'm trying to look at my meal plan from over here. Oh, Mac asked if we can make pizza. And we're gonna have pierogies. And pierogies, I've made pierogies before, but for the most part, pierogies are just something that we buy, and it's a fun convenience. And Marius makes them when we have pierogies and just makes it an easy meal. I'm also gonna do a crock pot chicken dish, and I was thinking burgers too, because we have lots of ground beef and lots of lettuce, and we just do lettuce wrap burgers. So nothing is really fancy and nothing is really complicated, and we eat a lot of the same things over and over again, and this is totally cool. I feel that having a big connection to our food and what we grow and raise ourselves makes eating real food easier and more inspiring. I've always felt that way. Even when we couldn't grow so much of our own food, I would get a CSA box or I'd buy from the market. And I feel like that connection just gets you a lot more inspired about food. And that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing. Now, little Kitty Witty and I are gonna say over and out. Say bye-bye, Thunder. Thunderstar.